Morning. Welcome to Morning Moments. Thank you for joining us today, whatever platform and whenever you're watching us. Thank you for choosing us today. Today, she is a president and CEO of CMAX Media. She's also a filmmaker, director, producer. She's done a lot of things in the film industry and television and such. It's my privilege to bring Ashley Zahorian to Morning Moments. Welcome, Ashley.
Thank you, Andy. It's great to be spending a few minutes chatting with you today.
Yes. And I talk to people all over, and it's wonderful to discover somebody that's probably 2 or 3 blocks from me right now. And that's exciting. So you're also in Virginia Beach. So let everybody know what's going on with you by me asking the question I always ask: what do you do and why do you do it?
Such a great question. So, what I do is I run a Christ friendly entertainment information platform. So, we believe that there is a gap that needs to be filled, that there is some amazing super Christian content out there, and there's a lot of super well produced anti Christian content out there that has good storytelling, but really bad morals that underpin and theological principles that underpin the storytelling. So, we fill the gap with things that are telling stories that are not necessarily like on your nose Christian, but are those same kind of stories people want to watch. Because sometimes you feel like watching a car reality TV show or a sitcom, but you don't want it to attack your Christian faith. Like right now, I'm not 2 blocks away from you right this moment because I'm in Norfolk at Phantom Works, where
Oh,
we are shooting a car show where I'm on a break right now from where I'm directing and the co-showrunner here. And that's with CMAX that we're working with Phantom Works to make a new series of the show that is Christ friendly. Like it is in our contract, the Lord's name will never be taken in vain on the new series, not just from our perspective of CMAX Media, but from the shop's perspective. That was important to Dan with Phantom Works too, that we'll never edit things because people do slip up and say things they shouldn't say, and cameras can be rolling, but we'll never put it on air. Because it just doesn't need to be there, and there are lines we don't want to cross. And we want it to be something you can watch that isn't necessarily what your kids want to watch because they may not be into car restoration, but you don't have to worry about covering their ears or what they see while they watch it either. So, like, that's kind of why we do things. I felt really inspired that for me, as somebody who I honestly don't watch most Christian shows. I watch a lot more secular television, but I hate the smut and the quality that gets in there. And I see, especially with my past as a youth minister, I was a youth minister for several years while I was studying filmmaking, just the immense influence that media has. And you look at the comparison of hours of time spent immersed in media, especially for the average American today, compared to the amount of time spent in church or in prayer or reading the Bible or anything faith filled. It's a huge gap. It's about 100-to-1 ratio for time spent in media to time spent in prayer oriented activities. So let's make the media ones be that stepping stone. People don't go from watching low level, low brow media right to high level kind of Christian filmmaking that really talks about deeper Christian principles. They're stepping stones. So we're trying to build those stepping stones.
and there's been a huge gap a number of years for the quality,
Mm.
and it's the gap is closing a little bit more. There's better quality movies out there that are faith based than used to be. So
Sure. Yeah, which is it's so awesome to see. I mean, I know I've worked with some of the same people that you've interviewed, and the quality is coming up so much, but there's still, it's more so a gap in content now, less than a gap in quality. That yes, there is sometimes, and this is more so that a lot of Christian films are independent than a issue of being a Christian film. It's just that independent films tend to have low budgets. But there's a lot of people who they're just not going to take that step. They're not ready to watch that yet. We're going a step from something laden with swearing and promiscuity to something with a Christian worldview. They're steps.
yeah, and there's a lot of things that even commercials anymore. I wouldn't even want my grandchildren to hear the commercials or see the
Right.
commercials. Their moral compass is somewhat broken, and and you just think, oh, this is it never used to be this way, but now you have to be
Mm.
so protective. You should be more protective of what your kids are seeing.
Yeah. And it's true for us too as adults. We don't want to see it either.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're bringing a lot of films and TVs together with your media company as well to have an opportunity for people to see that. Is that correct?
Right. So we make our own content, and that's why we have, like the studio 2 blocks from your house and why we're, here at Phantom Works. But we also wanted to be a place for others who are in that same boat where they're trying to make good, Christ friendly media and entertainment. Or just outright, like even talk on tape kind of stuff. But it's really difficult to distribute it. And if you are in we kind of say there are three people that we serve: the consumers of film, the people watching it, right? So to have a safe place where you can watch something that you and your grandkids will not have things you should not see, and it might be a cooking show or a comedy or a talk on tape, and those can all be found in the same place. So a place for you to be able to just turn on the TV and watch something that is enriching. And we're building up community for more discussion and prayer and some mentorship, so that's for the media consumer. Then for the producers to have a place where they can, put forth their content, which includes ourselves as producers, and have a fair compensation that's not hidden with lots of like crazy engagement metrics that, YouTube or Amazon can change at a flip of a hat. But to just know, what you're going to make if people watch your stuff, because we can't keep making this stuff, any of us, and bring up the quality without being able to pay people for the dignity of their work. So we can't say we need to give people human dignity and applaud their work and say that Christian media is important, but not be willing to give those people a paycheck. Like while most of us would love to do this in our spare time, I have 4 kids.
Yeah.
I've got 4 kids and a husband, and I don't have time for hobbies that take 14 hours a day to do right. Like if I'm working in media, it has to be work and how we're paying our mortgage and our kids' homeschool plus tuition, If people want to do it as a hobby, that's awesome, but that's not going to get that quality bar moved. And then the third group are the churches and the different groups that benefit from being able to say, hey, here's something to be able to watch. But yeah, it's a mix of, on our platform, we've got right now it's about 70% content that's produced by others and about 30% in-house.
Yeah, I know the feeling about funding and the need for funding. I'm retired. And I tell everybody I'm on a fixed income and I need Jesus to fix it. So, great. How can people pray for you?
Oh man, for stories to flow quickly. We're in post-production right now, so there's a lot of editing, and then we've got just a lot going on with, as we're at the 3-year mark in our company, which is a big mark, so we have some turnover happening as people, either this is the right place for them or it's not, and that happens naturally. So as we figure those things out, and for the right people who need to be a part of this to be there, for the word to get out, because we've been working on this and building stability, but now we really want to share it with the world because we've got a stable platform where we're confident we can make good on our promises. We can't say, hey, we're going to make sure that we take care of our content providers and not have good accounting systems in place to make sure we can do that, because we do not want to be flaky. So prayer for stories to flow quickly and for people to be able to jump in and join us, and just for our changeovers going on.
Great. Down below, you've been seeing the websites where you could go check out their media and their ministry, what they're doing, get involved and somehow get involved with them, either through content or through producing or through just finding out how to get their shows on your television and their shows on your systems of media. So as we close today, I want you to take some time as soon as this is over, and all of you know exactly what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to spend some time right now and pray for Ashley. Pray for her company, and what God's been doing for her. We have already asked her what to pray for. She needs your prayers, folks, and you need the practice. So pray that God would bless her in a great and mighty way. Ashley, thank you for joining us for Morning Moments today.
So thank you, Andy. It's been great.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us. Keep coming back, and may God richly bless you.